First, you may remember, it was LaMonica MacGyver, ironically named as she is, in New Jersey. And then Alex Padilla in California, the senator that nobody ever heard of. And now another no-name Democrat in New York this time has followed suit. Yesterday, we showed you how New York City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander tried to get attention by assaulting federal agents, federal law enforcement at an immigration court. It's all the rage with the Democrats, and that was in Manhattan. Lander was naturally arrested, should have been tasered and nightsticked, but no luck. After his stunt, and for Democrats, this is a publicity stunt at this point, in deep blue, deep Democrat New York, right? Attacking law enforcement is actually encouraged by the Democrat Party now and elevates your standing in the party. And Democrats who assault law enforcement are rescued by the Democrat governor there.
I knew I needed to come down here immediately and check on his whereabouts and do what I could to intervene. I'll let Brad speak about his experience, but to my knowledge, there are no charges. Charges have been dropped. He walks out of there a free man.
I got to tell you, the best way to become a hero in the Democrat Party is to break a whole bunch of laws and be proud of yourself. And just in case you weren't sure where New York's Democrat governor you just saw there stands when it comes to politicians being held accountable for assaulting police officers, usually federal police officers, here she is reminding us.
Do you want to know what I really think? Please. It's bullshit. How dare they take an elected official who's been going down there for weeks to escort people who are afraid to walk into a courthouse in the United States of America? What the hell is happening to this country? I just left Little Haiti. People are being traumatized.
As people are being traumatized, well, if you're an illegal alien in the country, you're breaking the law, and there's law enforcement here, at least there used to be. Isn't she amazing? Mercy. I've got to say, the Democrats, first of all, they're adults. What is she's in her 80s or something? And you're just trying to guess how old she was, and I'm just giving it a stab there. But they think that cursing, it's like they're in junior high. Cursing on camera is really cool for them. Not quite as cool as assaulting federal law enforcement agents or cheering murderers or accused murderers. Okay, which they love to do.
This Lander guy, he's a comptroller. You know what his job description is, according to AI? It's like oversee an organization, accounting and financial reporting. What does that have to do to try to be involved in assaulting a police officer? I mean, I'm almost thinking that the Democrats are trying to make this a requirement if you're going to run for office. You have to demonize ICE, assault the police officers, protest where you can protest. I mean, it is purely insane.
No, demonize.
I love how you're using AI. So.
Yeah.
Do you also use AI? How do Democrats get attention these days?
Well, they should really do a focus group and show these videos to Democrat voters and Republican voters and independent voters. The American people are going, this is all theater. This is not real. They are not being effective in these changes.
Well, Jessica, it's real enough to be violent and consistently violent. And now we do have a U.S. senator attacking a cabinet secretary who's a woman. You switch parties, that'd be a big news story at the New York Times. You assault federal agents.
Verbally attacking? He was not going to stab her. So.
Well, he was rushing her when the security detail felt it was necessary to intervene physically and keep him from going
Both sides
any further.
wanted that confrontation, I would say.
Yeah, but only one side started it.
There is no evidence to support that claim. Both sides didn't want. One side was holding a press conference. Second side showed up without his lapel pin, indicating he's a member of Congress, and rushed the cabinet secretary, who's a woman. And then
in a secure federal building.
Well, that's fine. Secure federal buildings, bad things happen all the time.
The left has created a culture of violence. Right. We see this every single news article, clip from LA riots, going all the way back to BLM and the Summer of Love. This is not new. This is a culture of violence. The reality is that they are gaslighting the larger Democratic Party into thinking that this is a form of protest, that this is their First Amendment right. So they have a problem with violence, and they've condoned it all over the place. So now what does the Democratic Party have to do, right? They can't go out and say, well, this guy shouldn't have done that, because it looks like they're turning on their own. But you put this in front of Democratic voters, or you put this in front of independent voters, they don't want this. They care about safety and security. They want their elected officials.
I think Brad Lander, next time he can write a letter to the editor. That will solve all
this is the thing.
issues.
All of these Democrats, Alex Padilla, LaMonica McIver, no one has ever heard of any of them. That's why they're doing this. They want to get fundraising. They want to get booked on MSNBC. And with this fat, monstrous slob in New York City, he's the only one I had heard of, because he's Jabba the Hutt. I've seen him in movies before. But other than that, these are all people who no one has ever heard of, most of whom are up for some sort of election. This monster in New York City, I guarantee you, is going to get more votes. We talked about this with the Newark mayor. Right. I said, I guarantee you more Democrats are going to vote for this guy because of his brief arrest. And he came in like second or third in the primary. I actually think Democratic primary voters, at least a large vocal plurality of them, they see abolish ICE, that's so 2020. Assault ICE, that's what they want to see moving forward now.
Well, you're just talking about the Democrat Party's history of violence. It goes back a lot further than that. 4 U.S. presidents have been assassinated. The first 3 were Republican presidents. The fourth was John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated by a communist. All right, Ronald Reagan was shot. Donald Trump was shot. You see a pattern.
Also by Iranians, too.
I think I see a pattern here. And it's not a good pattern for the Democrat Party. In Kathy Hochul's New York, criminal illegal aliens, they like the criminal illegal aliens better than the regular illegal aliens. They may be traumatized and afraid to walk into a courthouse. They're illegal and all that, as Kathy Hochul claims. But they're not afraid to attack prosecutors, for example, who are upholding the law, because yesterday in Albany, New York, an illegal alien armed with a knife, a big pointy metal knife, lunged at and attacked, chased a U.S. attorney, federal U.S. attorney, John Sarconi, just outside a hotel in Albany, New York. That's Hochul's backyard. It's where she has lunch and things. And the knife-wielding Democrat Party favorite illegal alien criminal maniac is from El Salvador. He had been previously deported at least once back illegally in the United States because he re-entered, probably waved in by Joe Biden and the Democrats. No word from Kathy Hochul on the trauma caused to the prosecutor by the illegal alien with a knife. But Congresswoman Elise Stefanik ripped Kathy Hochul. And she's one of the good ones there. And she said, in Kathy Hochul's New York, nobody is safe, not even President Trump's U.S. attorney for the Northern District of New York, who was confronted and chased by an illegal alien armed with a knife. Now, 3 separate times, Kathy Hochul signed executive orders to protect particularly violent, illegal alien criminals from deportation. And Kathy Hochul puts illegals first in New York and New Yorkers last. Isn't that the way that it looks?
Well, the problem is that America's culture of violence, it's kind of extending to, we saw in Minnesota, that state senator and her husband getting killed. So it's not just Republicans who are the targets of this. And it seems like every prominent federal official or even many prominent state officials, they're going to have to get armed security.
Which is so ironic given how many Democrats love defunding the police. They love defunding the police until they have psychopaths trying to murder them. Then they want
thousands of police officers.
I just wish that Americans had the exact same level of security afforded to them that these elected officials do.
This prosecutor was being chased with the knife by an illegal who God only knows from El Salvador might be related to the Maryland man. That's all.
They could be
a New York man.
The New York man.
Very kind father.
Yeah,
that's coming next.
Okay, well.